Whoa, Father, don't you recognize your own kin? It's been a lifetime, maybe two. My hair is longer and my face from thin from years of searching for the truth. Whoa, in a valley for the bones. Whoa, we're gonna rise up and head on home. We all wander through the shattered old world, getting more glass in our feet, leaving bloody tracks everywhere we turn.
Thank you, fans, for putting up with our bullshit during the Selig era. We're watching the World Series right now, or we were, and it's still kind of going on. They got some gall, man, just like, oh, thank you, fans, and when they have done nothing but fuck the fans over.
Who?
For baseball, just the last
I like baseball.
10 years. I know you do.
Baseball.
And it, just the way they do double headers now, because they're so fucking rare to begin with, like maybe one, maybe two a year. Mm-hmm. And then what they do is they do them at different times of the day. They'll do one like at noon, then clear everyone the fuck out, and then retake tickets in for the second one that's like 5 hours later.
Clean out the stadium.
No, that's stupid. You fucking put put the doubleheader. You have one game right after another.
Well, you gotta clear out. The team's gotta talk amongst themselves and
about
players
what?
And all that. About how they played and how they need to be better.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
They fucking don't.
Every time a game ends, Russ, they have to go back into the locker room and have an emotional speech.
Such as?
I don't know. Haven't you ever seen a sports movie?
Yeah, I've seen plenty of sports movies.
There you go.
But it doesn't mean anything. This is a 162 game season. I mean, they're not having. See, this is when they need the speeches. The World Series.
They do them after the game.
Well, what good does it do them now after the World Series?
Because they play multiple games.
Yeah, but like a speech isn't going to do them any good right now because this is when they're playing. This is when it matters.
Well, they could be doing that. The coach could go around and talk to them. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Welcome to this week's edition of Bored to Alaska, starring Scott Colhane, myself, Russell Ariel. Scott, feels like it's been forever since we've been
Hasn't
talking. It kind of has.
I know. We need to start doing laundry so we can actually wear different change of clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that I wear the same exact clothes.
For a week straight.
Coincidentally enough, yes, on a week straight. I admire the job you did to clear the flies off me. I appreciate it.
I know. Febreze is a wonderful thing.
If I only had a tail like a horse, just to fly them off.
I think that'd be bad. I don't know about any of that.
So, Ebola, Scott. Ebola is a big fucking deal these days.
I've noticed.
I'm not sure. What do you know about it? What do you know about what's going on with Ebola? Because I know you're not the kind to.
Do you just assume I don't know anything?
No, I'm just assuming because you don't really like watch the news. You don't really keep up on current events. I don't. I certainly don't. Basically what I'm learning about the Ebola shit is from other fucking podcasts that I listen to.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
You don't watch any news or anything like that?
No.
Oh, see,
I haven't sat down to deliberately watch like a 5 o'clock or 10 o'clock type newscast in well over 5 years. I mean, I used to download Meet the Press every week. I used to be super into politics and current events and shit like that and back in high school, and it was a big part of my life. And nowadays, I don't want to hear anything about it. Like, I have issues that are really dear to my heart, like healthcare and gay marriage and shit like that. But ultimately, like, when it comes like the little bullshit, I don't care.
Because Ebola is little bullshit?
Ebola is a little bullshit, I think. It really doesn't matter. Sarah's going to Texas next weekend, and she's not really terrified about getting Ebola, but there's something like a little nugget in the back of her mind that kind of makes her feel, just because of that guy that was that died from Ebola. Now, I think the only reason that he died is because the nurses didn't catch his symptoms or didn't match up the symptoms right away. Like, pretty much everyone that has gotten it has been isolated pretty quickly and, for the most part, cured.
Not really cured. They don't know how to cure it yet.
Sure they do.
They don't know how to treat it. They don't know how to make you more comfortable.
How's that not curing it?
No. And the last thing I heard on it is that they're trying to figure out how to really like come up with a vaccine for it. All that. And for the people that they've been bringing back, they've been quarantining off in certain rooms and trying to keep out of contact of others.
So do you think this is it?
This is it.
This is it. Shit's gonna go down. This is where our survival skills will come into handy. Now, I want you on my team.
What team is this?
My group for survival. But what we need is if The Walking Dead has taught us nothing, we need to find a really fast runner for supplies, preferably Asian.
Sam can't run. I'll let you. No, I can run pretty quick, sir.
No, I know you can, but I mean, if we get like,
does it have to be Asian?
No.
Made it sound like that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, but if we can.
It says back on these mics. I didn't know that.
Huh?
I was just always assuming this was the front, but it actually says back on these.
Well, yeah, I assumed with the logo there.
Yeah.
There. You know what we need? If we ever get new mics, we should get those nice 50s ones.
Yeah, those are a little expensive. And these are pretty expensive, but those are really expensive. I think next year we
should throw down and get those. I will help throw down to get those.
Seeing as I haven't thrown down enough.
I haven't thrown down a goddamn thing. My equivalent of helping out with the equipment is buying you a t-shirt. That's where I feel I have come through on my end.
And watching me help set up.
I helped set up today.
A little bit.
You're
learning.
A little bit. I'm getting there.
Anyways, back to this Ebola thing. It shouldn't have gone as far as it's gone already.
If President Obama came to you and said, Scott Callahan, I think you are the smartest man in America, and I think that
I'm normally smarter than him.
You can make the decision. Because I don't want to get my feet wet. Obama sometimes kind of backs off on big decisions, and he says, Scott, I can't afford to make this decision and look bad. I need you to make this decision. So you make this decision. Do you, Scott Callahan, eliminate all flights from the time being coming in and out internationally?
As in to what?
Coming from Africa, from everywhere.
Not
International
everywhere.
Flights, only domestic flights.
No. I would cancel all flights coming out of whatever countries it's already in. I would cancel flights from Africa generally coming in. Other countries would be still
But you have so many flights that
You'd
are
end up
connected.
No, and you do your best to quarantine off those countries. You wouldn't let the planes leave whatever countries it's already infesting. So you try to quarantine it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So the countries that it's already prevalent in and like spreading across, you block off those countries.
Are you willing to get funding for a 1,000-foot high electric fence?
Yes.
To put around the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Or just the lower border and the northern border.
Or we just kind of, if we all line up across the border of Canada and Mexico and just kind of get the little ice chippers and chip the country off and let them just float away.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm convinced this whole thing is not like God's doing or the president's doing. It is ultimately Robert Kirkman's doing. And this is why. People have been complaining about The Walking Dead, how they don't really explain what happened to start the whole thing, right? Like they try to hint at it with the CDC and all that and trying to get to how it started. But people still want to know more on how it actually began, right?
Interesting.
So, Ebola starts in Africa, right?
Ebola starts in Africa.
All the shit's going down. People are
going
dying.
down. People
are getting sick. And then somebody gets sick, right? Comes back to the U.S. Where did they take him, Russ?
Where did they take him?
Atlanta, Georgia. That's where it's starting.
Actually, I think that is one of the quarantine sites.
That's where they took the first person. That's what she says right here. But this is how it's all starting. We have about 2 months, and the world's going to hell.
Okay. So as we enter the winter, oh man, I'm not even gonna make my cruise.
No, you're not. You're gonna have to leave Elizabeth hanging.
Because we were gonna meet in the middle. It was reported by people who make this shit up that Alaska is one of the best places to live for a zombie breakout.
Because of the cold?
Because of the cold. And the body slows down when it's freezing. And do you... that's one of the things. I thought it was mighty interesting that because for years in Africa, they were like, well, we don't have a cure for Ebola. We can't really do anything about it. And it's like, oh, a rich white guy got it. In Africa, it's like, hey, well, look what we found. Look what we found sitting under Action Comics #1. And fucking Jimmy Hoffa's body. That's this cure for Ebola. I hate to say it, I'm a pretty open-minded person. I like equality, and I like everyone to have rights. But yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably kind of fence out those flights.
Kind of makes more sense than to letting them all travel freely.
Yeah, because I would like to. Because I should be able to travel.
It's with anything. It's not just because it's Africa.
And it's like, well, I should be able to travel anywhere I want. But it's like, yeah, but I also don't want any of my.
It's like Iran right now, or wherever they're fighting currently.
I don't want.
You wouldn't want to fly in there.
I don't want any of my friends or family to die or get sick, just so you can come in to the country.
So you can visit and see stuff before you die.
Yeah. I'm all for fencing off those type of people, which is weird because I'm like, I don't care about people coming over across the border.
Well, it's not even a fencing off type thing. But
I think it should be like Jurassic Park.
No. Make it an exhibit so people can come in and watch them.
Well, that's what I assume it is. Like when you see someone with Ebola on an airplane. I mean, that's what I'm assuming when I go down to Chicago. I'm going to be like, hey, how's it going? How often do you fly to Chicago? And he's going to turn to me and like the Dilophosaurus is going to be like, ah, with his hair. And he's going to spit at me.
No, it'd be something like where the airports in those countries would be cordoned off. There would be like guards on the borders, but you wouldn't be stuck there. If you wanted to get out, you could go through like a clearing process where I think Ebola's the dormant period or whatever like that. Like it's 21 days.
Yeah.
So they would like put you up in a hotel and you'd have to like chill out there for like 22.
Sounds like jury duty.
And you'd have to be.
It's jury duty when you're at a.
You'd be tested and everything, but then after you're cleared and you're not sick and everything, then they'd let you leave. It's not like putting everybody in prison. It's just making sure that they're clean before they get sent off. That way they can get people out. While still
now, are we talking
infected.
about cleanliness like something as simple as get some Axe body wash and?
No, like to make sure they're not infected with the virus type thing.
How do you know Axe doesn't do that?
Axe does do that.
I mean, we don't know for a fact that Axe won't.
Axe.
We don't know for a fact that Axe won't cure Ebola. We don't know that it won't.
I'm pretty sure it won't help him smell any better though.
No, he'll smell terrible.
Axe is
Axe
horrible
smells
to
like
me.
Axe smells like my friends and I, we used to have a buddy that used to spray himself like you see in the commercials. He would spray them all over, and it smelled like
so they look glossy.
Yeah, kind of. He was already a greasy dude, but he would spray it on, and it smelled exactly like the DEET mosquito spray. And they were just like, you smell him coming, and like, is that John? I'm like, oh Jesus.
Every time I smell Axe, it like takes me back to high school, like in locker rooms, because they always spray that shit everywhere. And I just couldn't
because they don't shower in high school.
I know,
and then they cake it on like
it smells horrible.
Yeah, so you're basically coming out.
You can walk in there and get lightheaded.
Yeah, like as you open, I don't know how your gym looked, but we would have and ours came around at the same time where body spray came out in high school, and yeah, it would come out like you would open the door. to the out of the locker room so we could get out, and it would look like the Cheech and Chong movie, where just like a cloud, just like coming out.
Just a cloud.
It'd be like a fucking tear gas body spray, and everyone's just like coming out like if it was a bank robbery, like.
Do not smell good. No. There is no way putting shit that smells stronger than your own body odor on you to cover up your own body odor.
Yeah, because I think you're not allowed to shower in the locker rooms anymore.
No, you are.
So
There's still showers and stuff. Just no one does it. So they
cake on the body spray.
Yeah.
And they cake on the deodorant, so it's like as thick as a piece of cheese, and and you mix that with the sweat they already have. Oh my god. I don't even want to fathom it, man.
No, because I remember in high school, I never used that stuff. I'd always use like normal deodorant, right? And when I go into the locker room, I'd like run water through my hair and shit, and like kind of just like wipe off my shoulders and stuff like that. But I wouldn't go crazy with it, and then just roll on normal deodorant and be fine for.
I have been inside your bathroom, and you have the bathroom of a sophisticated 70-year-old. Like you have like this aftershave, and you have this straight razor, and you have like this like Old Spice deodorant. You're like
oh yeah,
you're like an erudite.
You have to keep it simple. Nothing like over the top. I bought a straight razor because I was sick of buying normal razors. Those are way too expensive.
It's a thing of beauty, and I commend you for it. And what I want to do is I would like to go to a barber shop and get a nice straight shave.
We could do it right here.
I'm going to pass.
Right here.
I'm going to pass. I'd like to do it with the hands of what you might call a professional.
I've shaved 30 times without cutting myself already, like in a row. I'm pretty proud of that. I used to get like little nicks here and there, but nothing now. It's clean. I love it.
Seeing Sweeney Todd kind of put me off to.
I don't remember that movie.
It wasn't very good. You know, I think
Sweeney Todd. What movie was that?
Johnny Depp.
The Scissorhands? Oh wait, no, he was like kind of white skinned, like big poofy hair. Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah.
So, I was watching The Walking Dead.
You were now. Everybody that hasn't seen
Was
the
that
new
buggy?
episodes. Yeah, it has been actually. For The Walking Dead, you should stop watching now because Russ is gonna say something.
Yeah, spoiler alert, fuckers.
At this point, we're 2 episodes in.
We are 2 episodes in.
And it's about to air the third one, which you're gonna.
The fourth. This is
No,
gonna be the 4th episode.
the third episode.
Because Scott, this is another week since the last episode.
Yes, but this is where the veil's gonna come up because we can't talk about the third one because it's not airing yet.
Look, everybody, for the time, because we can't record every week like we'd want, we have to do 2 at a time. Okay.
I don't think that's a
Fuck
big
you.
surprise to anybody, Russ.
Fuck you.
To be honest, we haven't really sold it all that well.
But thank you for listening. We're
That's what I'm talking about.
were you surprised at the end? You knew it was in the comics, but were you still surprised?
No, I actually really liked the ending of the second episode. It was right where I wanted it to be.
You know, I was looking at the guy that who plays the leader of Terminus.
Yeah, the
his
opposing
name.
group.
Yeah.
The skinny guy.
He kind of channels the Joker.
A little bit, because he's
Sometimes.
kind of calm, but still
Yeah.
crazy at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah. I like what they did with the TV show, actually, because, like I said before, the Terminus isn't in the comics, really. And
You said in the comics they only pass through it, right? They're not really a big thing.
I don't even think it was in it. It may have, like... I'm having a hard time remembering it, but it might have just been something that they just passed through, or it wasn't in it at all. Because there was like a couple places where they kind of just like came across and left, and then... But anyways, when they get to the church and they meet the priest dude, like the same thing happens where Bob gets knocked out. Well, I don't think it's Bob. It's just another character gets knocked out, and then taken to this group, and he wakes up with his leg cut off. And this whole speech that he gives them before, like it pans down and shows it to him, like that was like straight out of the comic books. I thought that was awesome.
Word for word, almost.
Like almost, it felt like I was reading it again. That's pretty cool. But yeah, like in the comics, that was just some random group.
Okay.
Like it didn't like have like, oh, it's these people again, which actually made Terminus worth it for me.
Okay.
Because like what I liked about that is that the whole half of the last season.
Well, you were absolutely right. Not only did you predict that they wouldn't be in Terminus long, they weren't even in there for the whole episode.
No.
So you were right about that. And the first episode was brutal. The first episode was so brutal. And it was just like, I remember reading something where Andrew Lincoln said, I may have mentioned this in the last episode, where he thought that he didn't think the show was going too far, but he asked Kirkman, he was like, do you think this is like a little much? And this was in season 3. Mm-hmm. And season 4 has been more brutal.
Well, like right off the bat.
And just, it's far more graphic.
Like something changed between the seasons. Like between 3 and 4. Let me
ask you something. You're sitting there, you're lined up. You're Glenn. Mm-hmm. You're Asian. Yeah. You don't have much of a mustache. You have a woman waiting for you in a boxcar. Bodies are getting laid out. And throats are getting slit. You're in a fucking trough, for God's sake. You're going to die. Why not wiggle around and try to move and get up and leave? If they're going to shoot you, like...
Because how would he?
Why is shooting that? Why is a gun keeping me there? If I'm gonna, the only other, it's like in one frying pan or the other. Like I'm gonna die. It's like, well, I'm gonna fucking go out swinging.
How though? You're tied up.
Drop kick a motherfucker.
His legs are tied up too.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like around his ankles, then around his wrists behind him.
Well,
so they
roll
couldn't
around, man.
You're gonna die rolling.
Do the egg roll.
Yeah, no. There's just no good way out of that, really.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I think, what did he have? Like a piece of wood or something like that he used to cut himself free? Rick?
Glass? Wood?
Remember, because he was using the...
Was it a knife? Did he get a hand?
No, it was like the watch Herschel gave Glenn. They're using like the chain to like cut that little piece of wood out of the boxcar, remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a piece of wood, now I remember. But yeah, anyways, back to the second one, which would be the most current at this point. The whole like cannibals really that they ran into. In the comics, they weren't anybody, and it actually ended really quick. Yeah, I think it was within one issue that group came and went, just because of what happened to the character they like take and everything. Because
of the ending,
it wasn't Bob in the comics. It was Dale.
Really,
and that's how he died.
Dale.
Yeah. Because he made it that far, and then instead of Bob being there, they took Dale.
So Bob's in the comics?
I don't think so.
Or is it just a nameless?
I think it was just a guy that threw in because there's no more Dale, apparently.
Okay. Also, spoiler if you're reading the comics. I don't know. Sarah's reading the comics, but I don't think she's up to that point.
All over. I don't know where this all came from.
It's a nice shirt, though.
I know. It's like $100.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I tell you? Oh, yeah. I must have told you at some point because there are these Amish websites, which figure that out. There's a fucking Amish website.
Where the Mennonites like make them for them?
Yeah. They sell like Amish made shirts, like white shirts.
Yeah.
I thought like, shit, man, I'd like a white shirt, but it's like $80, $100.
Well, this isn't Amish made, but it's pretty nice.
But that's hand stitched shit, motherfucker.
It's like a Calvin Klein or something. It's nice. It's all slim fitting.
That would look terrible on me.
I like it. I got a regular fit shirt and it was all poofy. I didn't like it.
Oh, did I tell you one time someone asked me at work about why I wear black all the time?
Because you're Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I'm a fat Johnny Cash. And I told her it's because because my wife died.
What?
Because my wife died, and it's just This is kind of my weight. She used to love the color black, and that's how I remember her. And she's, oh my God, really? I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, not really. Like, it just makes me look slimmer.
That's not very nice, Russ.
No,
I'm sure that made that person feel horrible and then pissed at you all in the same motion.
Well, she actually laughed really hard at it, which actually kind of made me feel weird.
I'm happy your little wife is dead now. You made up a crazy story.
I'm glad she's dead.
She's not dead.
No. I'm not married. Walking Dead. Anything else? It's pretty good. Like I said while we were getting ready, I kind of choked up when Daryl found Carol again, and that was really, really touching. You know what though? Did you ever see the movie The Long Kiss Goodnight?
No.
There's this movie.
Seems like every time you ask me if I've seen a movie, it's no.
No, and then when you
I've
ask
seen
me if
so
I've seen
many
a movie,
movies.
and then when you ask me if I've seen a movie, nope.
It's like we each watch a shitload of movies.
We've each,
but then don't ever overlap.
Every movie that we have seen, every movie that's ever been made, but not
together. Yeah.
Time, and we've only seen 2 movies together.
Yeah. No, like at 1.5 movies.
There's this movie called The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel L. Jackson, and he kind of does the same thing he did in Pulp Fiction. Where he's like, "I'm a bad motherfucker," you know. Kind of.
That's like the half afro.
I don't remember if he did or not, but he said a lot of things during the movie. He would often sing a song like that famous blues riff, na 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 na. And he's like, "I'm a bad motherfucker," and then
Can he go through a movie without cursing?
No.
Okay.
Star Wars.
You know he
I'm sure he
cursed in
didn't
that.
Star Wars.
He probably cursed and they just like took the audio out.
You would think when his arm would get fucking cut off, he'd be like, "Motherfucker!"
As he's falling out the window.
Yeah.
Just cursing the whole way. There's some extended scene where it's just like tracing him falling. He's just like, motherfucker, shit, goddamn. I was reading somewhere that
I'm getting tired of these motherfucking Siths on this motherfucking plane.
I was reading somewhere where like, I forget where it was, but it was like some interview with him where he's like, "Yeah, I could come back." I mean,
Yeah, but it's like you're dead.
Yeah, no, but like who says he doesn't like fall out the window and then like force jump into another window? I mean, he's gonna be armless, but he may have made it.
Well, now,
you don't know. Episode 7, he could be like just walking up all like one armed.
well, Star Wars or Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel now.
And Marvel too?
Yeah. Huh. So, I mean, you can have him look like Nick Fury as he comes back in the Star Wars. Yeah. The eye patch and shit.
It's a crossover.
Anyway, Long Kiss Goodnight. Well, there's this part where he's supposed to protect this lady, but these mobsters like kick his ass, and you assume he's dead. Okay. Well, it goes later on to the climax of the movie, and this lady's about to die, and then it cuts to Sam Jackson in a car, and he looks up and he's covered in blood, and it just in the background, you know, just like bad motherfucker. Anyway, the reason I say that is because that's the only thing that I would have been cooler if Tyrese had done it. If like he would just like instead of like breaking through and tackling the guy.
Oh yeah.
Like he's just sitting there like with the knife above Judith, and you just hear a pow, and then there's like he looks around. And there's Tyrese with a fucking cigarette hanging out of his mouth, a fucking walker's head in his arm, and
where did he get the cigarette from, Russ?
I don't know.
These continuity errors are screwing with me.
It was in one of the walker's pockets. There's a fresh pack of smokes and a lighter, and then so the guy's like just flabbergasted and he just strolls up and just pushes him against the wall, and with a cigarette flopping in his mouth, he's like, "You picked the wrong day, motherfucker."
I did not have my coffee yet. I think it was shot pretty good. Like the whole season feels different.
It does. It's more brutal, but it's done in a way where it's just like, well, it's not brutal for brutal's sake. It's like, well, we just need more violence. No, they're upping the game in every aspect. The writing's great. The acting's somehow even better. Like, I was completely uninterested for a lot of the third season. I didn't care. Like, I was just like, and it's not because they were in the jail the whole time. That's fine. That was fine. Even, you know what? I'll go as far as to say with the farm, I was fine. Whatever. You know? But, like, I think the more interesting parts, though, are when they get into the conflicts with people.
Yeah.
Instead of walkers now. Because, like, you're almost like...
It's more complicated. Like, it's...
Now when they're attacked by walkers, when they're in a battle with people, it's like, well, you don't give a fuck about the walkers.
Yeah, they can kill them.
You're like, this is just like, oh, man, but what about you know,
like, the only thing is, like,
shit.
dramatic anymore is if they came across, like, 1,000 of them at once. Then you're like, oh, well, you can't really fight that. But with the people, it's different. Because you don't know if you need to fight them or not.
Yeah, So, without giving away too much that you know of, if they followed the comic, is the preacher huge or just kind of a passerby character?
I remember him being in there, but...
He didn't make an impact. He didn't, like...
I'm sure he did at some point, but it was a while ago.
He didn't turn out to be like a governor type.
I mean, because it was a few years ago when I hit that part in the comics. It was... I don't even remember him in there. I don't know if he's still in there or not. He might be, but... And the comics are so far ahead of where the show is at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it would take a few years to catch up, I'd think. Unless they kind of skip ahead of a lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't really remember the preacher all that often. All I remember is they came across him, and they come across the cannibal group, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I really think the whole scene in the third season where he ripped out his throat, I think that was after, like, the whole cannibal thing. I think they met the preacher, and then it was just down to those three, and that all happened. I'm not quite sure.
They seem to be doing a lot more with the comics.
Well, they always have. The whole prison thing, they had to go away from that for a little bit just because of how brutal the comics actually were at that point.
But the thing is,
they couldn't really put that
is
on
they
TV.
were more referencing the comics than anything, it seemed. Like, as like the moment where, you know, Shane's pointing the gun at Rick in the forest, and then a nod to where Carl eventually does kill Shane.
Yeah. Well, some of it they take out of them, and then some of them are just references to it. But a lot of it's different, which I like.
Well, I don't know if it's not really so much a reference like with the thing with Bob is like it's taking from the comic, which is fine. It's the source material.
It's kind of the same from the comic, but it's not. Like the group is different, but the characters are different.
They pick and choose what fits, and that's fine. That's more than fine.
It's more exciting to watch it.
Sure.
Especially if you read the comic books and they still change things. Because it'd be boring if it's the same story.
Would you rather it be more of the comics?
No. I like the way they're doing it now.
Okay.
How it's cool to see it every now and then, but if it was the whole thing, it's like, what's the point of watching
coming.
this?
Yeah. It's like Game of Thrones. That's how I don't understand people who read and watch Game of Thrones. It's like, well, how could... Because I guess they're pretty faithful, and it's just like, well, how do you, like... You know what's coming. Now, I've never had that issue. I know people who
You're too lazy to
spoilers.
read something and then...
Like my buddy Tim fucking loathes spoilers. And he will not watch movies if he knows like the surprise ending. Like he's never seen The Usual Suspects. And The Usual it's a good movie and it's a good movie, but I mean it's such a referenced thing. I mean it's the twist ending now. If you know it going in, and it still doesn't bother me because the acting was so great and it's such a great film. Or Fight Club. If you know
that's almost better after you know the ending. Like if you watch it for the first time and then you rewatch it, that's almost better because you can pick up on a lot of things.
You'd have to rewatch it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it's.
Cause I remember the first time I watched it because I'd never seen it before. I saw like little chunks of it on TV for like 5-10 minutes, but then I picked it up at Best Buy. It was on Blu-ray, I sat down, I watched it through, and then I immediately replayed it to watch it again.
Do you think you could do that with any movie?
Not any movie.
Like if you had, I don't know, Jaws.
No.
And the shark was all in their mind, and then you went and digitally removed him, so it just looks like so a bunch of guys are like afraid of water.
Like a guy just like wakes up in his bed, is like, oh shit, it's a dream.
Wakes up next to Rick.
Leonardo's sitting next to him. Yeah,
Did you see that Kirkman put the kibosh on that?
Yeah.
Now I
still don't believe him.
I've never heard that theory at all.
No, neither have I.
Until you said it. And now it's become an internet thing. And I've never heard it at all. I've never heard it once proposed that this was Rick still in the coma.
Mm-hmm.
And until you mentioned something of it. And then a week later, Kirkman has to address it on Twitter. And I just thought...
Because we have that much pull, Russ.
Robert Kirkman listens to Board to Alaska.
No.
I can only assume that that's the case.
No, I read that because I didn't hear that one before, but I did hear like other ones how he was thinking about having it somehow to do with aliens, stuff like that, which I think that's not even a joke. That would like ruin it. I mean, my way would ruin it too, but I think it'd still be a good ending. It'd be one of those ones where people could go like, yeah, you like it up till that point, or just don't watch that part. But then other people will be like, yeah, it's really cool.
Well, that's what I thought the ending for the show Lost should have been.
Yeah. Well, see, I like that ending too. I don't like endings that wrap up everything all nicely and like explain really what's going on. Like a good ending to me is something that leaves a lot of questions unanswered, so that people can talk about them and stuff like that.
Like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
What happened to all that money?
You don't know where Jesse's going.
You want to hear my theory?
Sure.
I think he
hits
went to
a
go
moose.
get the kid.
Right there.
I think he went to go get that kid.
Maybe.
And to get him out of the...
How's he find the kid?
Who knows where they live?
Well, yeah, sure, but the mom got shot. And then the kid's just chilling. What does the kid do?
I can't remember. Was that the same day? Was that the same night?
Well, the kid would have known his mom's dead by then.
Yeah.
So where does he go? Just sits at home, plugs in his GameCube?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're in the middle of,
If you're in the middle of Mario Sunshine, you can't stop playing that.
He's playing Final Fantasy. I mean, you gotta finish it.
I only know one person that's really into Final Fantasy. I cannot get into that game, though.
I don't think I have the patience for any of that.
I have a lot more patience for video games than I do TV or movies. Like, there are very few movies anymore that I'll actually sit down and watch and think they're good.
Well, how long was Fury?
Oh, that's like 2.5 hours.
That's a long movie.
It didn't seem long, though, when you're watching it. It went by really quick. It was pretty good.
Why are movies so goddamn long?
I don't know. I'd rather have a longer movie than a shorter one. Just because, like, even with normal length movies.
I thought Tusk was perfect.
Well,
I swear to God, this is the last episode we'll talk about Tusk.
That was good because you know the backstory about it. You can get the references and everything. But if it was just standalone, like you had no idea what was going into that, it would be harder to form a connection with the characters and everything in that short amount of time. That's what's good about TV is that it goes along and you can actually kind of figure out who these people are and know what's going on in the thing. Movies have a hard time introducing characters, getting you to care about them, and then doing whatever they want with them. Because they have to do that each time unless it's a sequel movie. And certain movies do it good and others don't, but when the movie's longer, it just gives you more time to kind of be immersed in that world, which I think is good. Because I'd much rather have a movie that's too long than a movie that's too short.
Well said.
Yeah. Like, I never got really the whole, like, director's cuts, how they make them shorter and everything. I just leave everything long. I'm serious. I would have went and sat down and watched the 5-hour version of Lord of the Rings in theaters. Why not? Those are insanely long. Have you ever seen the director's cuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own them.
Ugh.
And it's not like, and it's not like
we could marathon them through in a weekend before the new
down.
Hobbit comes out.
Sitting down's killing me.
So you're standing up?
Yep.
All right.
There's shit that just doesn't need to be in those goddamn movies. Like, there were so many people complaining that they took the Tom Bombadil parts out of the book, and
What do you mean?
there's a character that has a shitload of dialogue in Fellowship of the Ring. He's a
Yeah, see,
hobbit,
I never read the books. I was too
and
busy
it's
to do that.
like those parts are so goddamn boring. It's like I'm glad they left them out.
What I never got is The Hobbit is by far the shortest book of all those.
Yeah, it's only
And
one
they're the
book.
ones that
Only
they
one book.
decided to split into 3 movies.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do the Harry Potter thing with at least the last 2 Lord of the Rings movies and split each book into 2 movies. So it'd be like Twin Towers Part 1, Twin Towers Part 2, and like Return of the King Part 1 and Part 2. Fellowship they could get down in 1 movie just because it's kind of the intro. But The Hobbit, I don't understand how they can cut that into 3 different movies. Like, especially the second one, that kind of pissed me off a little bit, the way it ended. You've seen that, right?
What?
Second Hobbit movie?
Yes.
Yeah, how it kind of just like pans over the city. He's like, "Oh no, what have we done?" And it just cuts.
Yeah.
Hated that.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I thought they should have just kept with the 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been fine.
I mean, it's better than the Return of the King's ending that had like 20 different endings.
Dude, let me tell you a story about that. Okay.
I was like, and nope. Here we go. And nope. Not that scene. Okay.
So this is, we saw it when it came out in theaters. I was dating a girl that was really into Lord of the Rings, and she got me into it. So I hadn't gotten into it at that point up until then, so I hadn't seen the other 2 in theaters. And we went and saw Return of the King.
So you went into that without knowing anything?
No, we saw the first 2.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to Return of the King once, and that was great. And then we went and saw it again on base. And
On base,
we
aren't you
already
fancy.
yeah, we already knew about the multiple endings. And I knew it was coming, you know, and as it cuts to the second ending, which is a very heart-wrenching scene where they go off in the boats, and it's just like, it's so sad, and you're like, that would be that's a perfect ending. It's like, it's sad as fuck, but you know.
Then it cuts away into another
and
one.
it cuts away, dark. People start standing up, and I'm like, I know what's coming, and it's already 3 hours, you know. So it's in
Nobody wants to sit back down. They'll stay standing and watch the rest.
Then it fades in back in to the Shire. And you can hear, I swear to God, Scott, you hear this in the theater, a collective, oh, and actually one dude in the back go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
This isn't over yet.
Here's one guy, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So that was great.
Well, it's almost like the end of Marvel movies now. You can tell who like watches them and who doesn't by who stands up at the end of the movies. So there's always that scene at the end that people that actually enjoy them and like want to go see them will sit through the credits to see. But the ones that aren't really into those movies, that don't really know what's going on, they'll stand up and leave. So it kind of separates the audience a little bit at the end of those.
Well, the Marvel Studios is the only one that does those.
Yeah.
The X-Men movies don't do it, and the other ones don't usually do it. It's
Yeah.
only really the Marvel Studios. I still think the best one to this date is the Avengers. They're just silently eating shawarma, and Thor's just like eating the fuck out of it.
No, I remember the Captain America one. I thought that was pretty good. How it cuts forward and then he's like punching the boxing bags and Nick Fury walks out and all that. That was a pretty good one.
Oh yeah.
But I still think the best after credit scene that like changed the ending of the movie was for the Gray. You ever see that? I know you've seen the movie, but did you see the ending?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, because at the end of the Gray, it shows him where he gets all taped up, right? And he goes to fight the things, and you assume he dies, right? You sit through the credits, and it kind of pans over, all the wolves are dead, and it cuts over to him, and he takes a breath, and it ends. So it kind of ends with him surviving it.
I like to
Kind
call
of changes the ending.
I like to call that Wolf Punch the movie.
Wolf Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that made me mad the first time I saw it, but after I watched it again, it kind of made me like it more. How they never showed the wolf fight. I just like built up to it and built up, and then like right when he started to go at it, it cut away. That's pretty good.
That was a pretty decent movie.
Filmed up here. Not really.
No.
It's like somewhere in Canada.
All Alaskan movies are filmed in Canada.
No, some of them are. There was some bill up here trying to bring more movies up. That was what the whole Frozen Ground thing was. How that was.
If they gave them a better tax break, they would.
Yeah, I know. It's just so expensive to get stuff up here,
Well,
like shipping and then flying people up and everything.
The last two movies, I believe, that involved Alaska were made up here.
I remember Frozen Ground
Frozen
was,
Ground
and then what was the
Big
other one?
Miracle.
Oh yeah, that whale one.
Sucks so bad. I knew that movie was in trouble when the best acting was done by the Inuit extras that had never acted before.
What is a movie?
And there's actually this moment. You never saw it?
No,
Don't do it. It's stupid.
I don't plan on it.
But
The only reason I actually wanted to see that is because the guy from The Office was in it, and I was just like, nah, it's not worth it.
because Drew Barrymore is fucking insufferable, and there's no reason to watch.
I liked her in 50 First Dates. You ever see that?
No.
Adam Sandler movie, where they're in Hawaii. He's like he's friends with the walrus in that movie.
I like the.
You should watch that.
I like the Wedding Singer.
Yeah, like that whole movie is like he's like a sea life guy, and his best friend's like a walrus, and they're just like chilling in Hawaii.
Mr. Tusk.
Yeah, it's like the comic version of Tusk. When I think about it.
I think Tusk is the comic version of Tusk.
That was a horror movie. That's scary.
I don't know if it was a horror movie though.
It was meant to seem kind of like a horror movie at some parts.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
What were we talking about?
what? Talking about Walking Dead for like the third straight episode.
I don't care. It's a good show. It deserves 3 episodes.
Don't give a fuck.
You care about it. I care about it. I care about that tiger, panther, that cheetah on your arm.
Panther.
Cheater.
I still owe Lisa coffee
Why?
because we made that bet
What bet?
at the airport.
Oh yeah. So no one thought it was a panther.
I bet that more people would think it's panther than, or no. She said everyone would think it's a tiger, and I got the field. Anything else?
Oh, it does look like a tiger. I mean, to be fair though, all those
Cats look alike to you.
well, especially when they're all in black and white.
You're fucking racist, Scott.
Like if it was in color and there was no orange, people would be like, "No, it's not a tiger." But like, especially with the expression it's making, it could be anything.
It's a baboon.
Yeah, it could be with those teeth. You don't know. Think about it. How many animals look like that when they're making that face? That could be an angry chipmunk for all you know. See, now you're seeing it.
Did you see the? I'm not sure if you really know what Magnum PI was.
Yeah, sure.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, it was a Ferrari.
Okay, and Indiana Jones, of course, you know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But someone put out a tweet that said "mind blown." It had a picture of Tom Selleck as Magnum PI, Indiana Jones, and then a picture of Chip and Dale. Because Chip and Dale, they had a little Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
And Dale had a leather jacket and a fedora.
Yeah, it was Indiana Jones.
It was like mind blown. I was like, whoa! Oh, thank you, internet.
You didn't realize that before?
No.
Yeah, the Adventurers. Or the Venture, whatever. What were they called?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers, that's right. And they had the girl chipmunk and then like those two and then
Was it wrong to think that girl was hot?
I don't know. But was there 3 chipmunks besides the girl?
She wasn't a chipmunk. She was a mouse.
Was there 3 chipmunks?
And Monterey was a mouse too. He always
all this.
He always went crazy for cheese.
I'm the younger one. I should be the one that knows all this.
You know Monterey fucked that mouse.
No, I don't.
You know he did.
I don't know any of this.
He was like, I like pussy and cheese.
That's Disney movies. There's nothing sexual about those movies at
We
all.
sexualized Charlotte's Web, so there's nothing off limits.
Very few amount of people actually know that story. And it's not good. A lot of people did not like that, Russ.
I wonder if that's why everyone hates me at work.
Very much might be. I still have that poster. I really want to hang it up because I don't think anybody will get it now. They'll just be like, "Where the fuck is your Charlotte Web
Hanging
poster?"
up in Kevin's office.
Yeah, because he's in. Both him and Corey are gone on vacation. This would be the perfect time to do it. Whole offices. I took his chair away and hit
And
it.
you just kind of just sit in the break room and just kind of wait for him to come back to his office.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear a faint, what the fuck?
Be better if they didn't notice it.
No,
Like on the ceiling.
well, Kevin, let's go.
Did they win? Oh, no,
It's
it's a
only the
commercial.
fifth inning, dude.
I'm not the one facing the TV, okay? This is the last game?
No, it's only game 5.
How do you know these things? I'm actually, what? Like, baseball's the only sport I'll watch, and I don't know these things.
I don't know, man.
After the Mariners dropped out, I kind of stopped watching.
That's what I did. Oh,
They're gonna win
John
one of these
Madden,
years.
Or Joe Madden from the Rays. He
Mm-hmm.
opted out of his contract for the last year.
Why?
He just wasn't happy there. So, thinking he may go to the Cubs. It's a perfect situation for him.
Why would you care about that?
I don't know. I don't know why I care. Because I haven't cared about Chicago baseball in a long time.
I like Chicago baseball.
They just suck.
You and Greg can go watch a Chicago game.
We become friends.
Yeah.
We'll come on our podcast.
No.
You don't want them on the podcast?
Oh, that'd
Is
be
that like-
awesome.
Is
but
that kind of thing one of like don't meet your heroes type thing?
no, it'd be awesome to meet them. I seriously doubt that any of them would actually come up here, though. You know how expensive it is to fly
We
from
can
San
Sky-
Francisco to Alaska?
If we could figure out Skype, I bet you we could get Kevin Smith on here.
I already know how Skype works.
Well, let's work out Skype.
Do you want to do the next 3 episodes over Skype?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do episodes where it's you and I
Okay.
over Skype.
Well, we already have the one person lined up that wants to guest on here over Skype. We're all the way over in Bombtown.
You used to call Boston Bombtown?
No?
What, me?
Oh, that, it's the town, Russ. It's not Bombtown. It's the town.
So we're running out of shows, Scott, but I wanted to bring up something.
We're only running out of show because you're letting us run out of show, Russ.
We can't do it forever.
We can do it forever.
Camera won't do it forever.
Actually, it's plugged in. It can go forever. See that little red flashing light? As long as that's going, we're good.
I was talking
Why is my
to
headset falling apart?
Sarah the other day, and I think I'm starting to grow concerned about myself with being introverted. Like the older I get, the more introverted I am.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest tell signs that started off was my trip to Utah.
How long ago was this?
This is back in March.
This March.
This past March, yes.
See, I didn't even know you went to Utah, Russ. You didn't even tell me. Is this the one where you laid on the hippo?
That was San Francisco.
Picture. That's San Francisco?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we go to San Francisco? I want to go to San Francisco.
Well, let's go to San Francisco. Let's
I
go
got
to
stuff to do down there.
Let's go to Seattle, and then we'll go down to San Francisco. We'll get away from her for a month.
It's going to be needed more than a month. That drive will be like 2 months.
Well, I only have so much time.
I know.
Maybe we'll just fly down.
I'll drive down. You can drive with me for the month. Then you can fly back, and I'll chill there. And then you fly back, and we'll drive back. Perfect.
All I need is like 160 hours of leave.
Seems like a lot.
Guess I could quit.
Or just get fired again.
No, I won't get. I love this job too much.
Take a leave of absence. Take a sabbatical.
Well, I guess if I kill one of my relatives, I could take a bereavement leave. During a lot of my trip, and you probably noticed over the course of time at the airport, I walk around a lot with headphones in. And I listen to podcasts almost all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that the entire time when I wasn't doing stuff in Utah where I was interacting with people.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in my own world with my headphones.
Yeah, which you actually got me into. Because I used to have a lot of music on my phone, and I would just listen through that. But after you talked me into this, I downloaded the podcast app and then Pandora. I deleted all my music off my phone, and I bought Pandora 1 so I could like listen to radio kind of if I wanted to. But 90% of the time, it's through podcasts.
Yeah.
Just because it's more interesting to talk to, like to listen to that than
and
music.
We are now podcasters. And
no, loosely.
We're
There's no audio up yet, Russ. This is just a video on some website.
This is still a podcast.
This is a vodcast.
Drunk show. Nah, maybe we shouldn't do a drunk show. I don't want a wasted hour of nothing. I'm just going, nah, I love you.
And what what is this? But not a wasted hour, Russ.
This is not wasted. This is all going, because this is about to get therapeutic.
Okay.
So if you're
I
becoming into that same way, is that bad? Like, is that just like,
what do you mean?
The most
I don't think
person to person interaction I get is at work, and when I hang out. Like, all of my friends are married or in relationships, and they're busy and they're doing shit. And really, the only relationships I have are with Sarah and you. I mean, and I still hang out with my friends sometimes, and that's great. But I mostly spend a lot of time to myself. But I like it, and I just like being alone. And
well, I mean, I think it's a good thing to have an outlet to where you can kind of be self-sufficient and just like kind of block out the world and just go into that. It's good to be able to do that and be able to be relaxed. Because if I had to be just kind of plugged into the world all the time, I would go crazy. A lot of things that people do annoy me, even though I don't like really show it outwardly.
yeah,
It bugs the crap out of me a lot of the time. Mostly drivers, I can't stand them. But when you're listening to a podcast, you can kind of clear it. Like I have this thing where I'm playing video games and I can kind of clear myself out of the world.
Yeah.
And then do that. But most of the time now, I listen to podcasts and play video games at the same time. So it's like, it mutes everything, basically. And it's a good point to kind of just block yourself out.
I usually save a lot of podcasts, my favorite ones, and I'll re-listen to those over and over again. And even though I don't really laugh at it anymore because I heard it a bunch of times, I still
It's just good to listen to.
I usually save those episodes to when I'm doing something where I need to focus, but I still just like that background noise and that noise in my ear.
Like, for some reason, something like about background noise always helps me. I hate silence.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm trying to go to sleep, I cannot go to sleep without something going on.
Except driving, I like. Well, I mean, I'm listening to my podcast, but I mean, ultimately, like if I'm driving with people, I don't mind just being quiet. Like,
I can't stand that either. If I'm driving my car and it's quiet, like even on the way here, you could see that word. There was something quietly buzzing in my car, and it drove me crazy. Because I want to fix it. I don't want it buzzing, and I don't want it making noise. Because I'm always afraid something's gonna go wrong with it. So
the dildo you keep in your
the
Terminator.
It's something up in the top roof that connects. I don't know. But having something that with a noise track over it helps out a lot. Like, 'cause even when I'm trying to go to sleep, I like something playing. I either put a podcast on or turn on Netflix or something and just let it run.
Yeah.
Because I don't like quiet. It bugs me too much. Like when something's like so quiet, you can hear that kind of ringing.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
All right. Well, I just don't want to be weird.
How'd you be weird?
I don't know. I just feel like maybe at my age, like I'm just like shutting myself off from the world.
We're already both pretty weird, Russ. There's nothing normal about us.
That's why we do the show.
Yeah.
But like I was mentioning, it's like, listen to podcasts because we are podcasters now. I mean, I look at them in a different light now. As like when I became a musician and listening to music, you look at it from a different perspective, and you're just kind of...
Well, you can see it. It's not as easy as you think it is from the outside looking in.
No, there's
like,
a lot
especially
of work to it.
When people are going like, okay, we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this. We're going to put it up over here. We're going to do this. We're going to cut it in between video, audio, and put it in these 3 different places. There's a lot of work behind that. It's not just like a general hit upload and it works.
Yeah, no,
There's a lot of accounts and a lot of different time. For every hour of the show, there's at least 10 hours put into it behind the screen.
Oh yeah, no, and I can't thank you enough for doing what you do.
I mean, just setting this up alone takes like an hour and a half. Just all this equipment. Which is always fun. Because you sit and watch TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, Russ, you want to learn this? And you're like, nah, next time. It's always fucking next time. I need to hire somebody to help me set all this stuff up. I'll pay him in donuts or pizza slices or something.
Get an assistant.
Yeah.
They could be a producer.
Don't producers pay for stuff? What do producers do?
Mm.
We should find that out.
Well, that's what we should do. We should get a third for the show. And they're mainly here just to help set up.
Just to keep touching it.
We'll set them up a
Thing on the
mic
camera
and
to
they can
focus it.
and they can
Just a God mic. Have it like echo a little bit.
Yeah. I can chime in periodically, but yeah.
Like what we're talking about. This is what you're talking about. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, if we get off track, we can just because that happens.
Somebody
a lot.
sitting on the couch keeping notes. Like, okay, they were here. I don't know where they ended up over here, but go back to this.
People do that, man. You know,
Be nice.
just try to find, someone that's willing to help.
Oh, I thought that was a Michelin commercial for a second.
All
Right ear does not go to the mic, Russ. That's why I took my headsets off. Because even with that off, it hurt.
Well, that was a good episode.
It was all right. I think it was pretty good. We got to talk about our shows, our people, us, the state. It's cold. It's starting to snow. Shit's out. Have you slipped yet? Like, with your car?
Slipped?
Because we kind of slipped coming in here.
Oh yeah.
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 Like, it's getting snowy out.
Oh yeah. It was the first snow day last week. It was a little slick on the north side.
Oh, there was at least 4 or 5 inches at my house when I woke up.
Oh yeah, when I
I
went
was
to
like, holy crap.
when I went to work, I kind of just I wonder, when I'll see my first accident.
Mm-hmm.
And
I definitely thought there
on
was going to be a lot there.
On the fucking way to work, there was a guy in a ditch. I'm like, that didn't fucking take long.
Because for some reason, people that live up here, they're expected to be better drivers when it comes to winter. But it never seems like they are.
Crazier.
I know. It's like you think they would get it down by now.
A bunch of rain and freezing over
Yeah.
and ice all over the roads.
It's like people forget how to drive.
Drive like it's July, man.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, it seems like they just kind of drive how they always drive. They don't consider the track.
Because they think oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I can do this. Like,
Getting overly confident is always a
it's
bad
like,
thing.
just fucking chill out, man.
Just always expect to slip out. Don't be like, oh yeah, I'll hold this. Just like expect to slip on that part. I don't know. I don't like winters up here. They're too cold. And especially last one, there's no snow. I don't know if it's worth it.
Well, if the zombie shit goes down, then
If the zombie shit goes down, I want to go down to like California, have some fun. It'd be too boring up here. We'll have to like watch it on TV. This is unscripted. I hate reality shows. Did you see that where AMC dumped all of its unscripted shows except for Comic Book Man?
and Talking Dead.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm sure that show will get cut soon enough.
And that's after they renewed like 3 shows too. Like a month later.
like
they were
renewed? Oh, nope.
like, nope, fuck you guys.
Which I think is good. The AMC's writers are really talented.
Yeah, but I kind of liked Freak Show, and I was getting into
I never
Fork
watched
and
that.
Loud.
All right, the only unscripted show I ever watch on TV anymore is the Comic Book Man. I don't really like Talking Dead. It kind of annoyed me. Talking Bad, I was like, eh.
Talking Dead used to infuriate me when it first started because all he ever really had on there was
It feels
Kirkman or Darabont. And every episode he was like, come on, tell him like what's going on. I'm like,
I know.
"What's gonna do?" And if I was like, I know it's part of the show,
I've been like, shut up.
but if I were Darabont or Kirkman, I'd probably lose it. Just like, well, fuck, dude. Do you really want to know? I'll
Just tell
fucking
him,
tell
yeah.
you. Okay, we'll go back and we'll sign. If you're so goddamn impatient and you don't want to find out what the rest of the people will go sign a fucking document where you can't say nothing. But I'll fucking tell you if it means so goddamn much to you.
No, not even that. Just like, because, with like the third season, where like 3 episodes in, they kill T-Dog, Lori, and I think one other person, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if like after the second episode airs, he asks them what's going on, and they just straight up tell him right there. I think that would end that forever. He'd just be like, "Well, fuck."
Holy shit, dude! Did you see? Did you see that?
I mean, that whole joke is based on them not being able to tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that extra for Batman v Superman? They like anonymously gave someone like a spoiler like from the set, and like if they find out who it is, they might fine him like $5 million.
I don't know what it was, but
That's crazy.
I keep forgetting those movies even exist. Batman, Superman, the episode 7. It seems like they're just such a far ways out, and like news kind of trickles in on them like so slowly. It's stupid. The whole like announcement of things and then like kind of leaking information and all that, it's all set wrong. Like an announcement of a movie should be at most 6 months out from its release. It shouldn't be like, oh, okay, we're gonna make this. We're gonna start shooting it a year and a half from now. That's crazy.
I always don't even care
I know.
anymore. Like I'm just so freaking.
It's almost to the point where it hurts it because everybody gets excited and then they forget about it, and then they show TV commercials and it's like, oh yeah, that was there.
I am at the point now where I'm like, I don't even care about like comic book movies. Like I'll probably see them, but I mean, I just don't. I'm getting comic book movied out.
I haven't even watched the new Captain America, which I heard was pretty good.
That was great, but I mean, it's just like you should step up your game because like it's just like I'm losing interest.
I mean, what I'd like to see now is they've released a lot of comic book movies where they're kind of like all fun and everything, right? But if they had something like for all the superheroes and everything, they had like a director like Chris Nolan do like a dark version of each superhero. I think that'd be kind of cool to see, at least in one movie. Like I'd really like to see a hard R Wolverine. That'd be cool.
Well, that's what they're saying with the Deadpool movie. It's got to be R. Like it's not going to be.
You think it's gonna be Ryan Reynolds? I think that'd be cool.
He wants it.
Yeah,
he wants it really bad.
I liked him in that role, even though they didn't really even call him Deadpool in the X-Men. I forget what they called him, but
Origins.
Yeah. He had like the white mask on and his black eyes and all that. It was cool. He's a good fit for that one.
Yeah, and he's a smart ass. You know,
it's almost like Wolverine, how Hugh Jackman was talking about how he didn't really want to play it anymore, but who else would play it? Like I couldn't really see anybody else in that. Imagine that movie starting, right? You see a fist, it cuts down, blades come out, right?
Yeah.
Hands up, Bruce Willis.
No.
I know. You know how horrible that'd be?
It'd have to be like Paul Giamatti or something.
It'd have to be somebody, a Canadian. But
Canadian?
or an Australian, I guess. It just wouldn't seem right. Now that it's like, so they've played so many movies into that. Like they'd either need to end the series and restart with another person or change it out.
Well, the comic Wolverine's only like 4'10", so.
Have you ever seen The Killing?
No.
You should watch that show. It has Kevin Bacon and I forget the other guy's name. They're both from X-Men though. I forget what role Kevin Bacon was. He Iceman or something like that.
Kevin Bacon was doctor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like him and then one of the other mutants, like Iceman or something like that, are in the Killing series. It's pretty decently written. It's really cinematic and stuff. It's pretty good.
Right.
It's all on Netflix. You can watch it.
Netflix. I love Netflix. I've been catching up on my Trailer Park Boys, and it's been nice to have back.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to rewatch things. Like the new season of Sons of Anarchy is coming up, so I started rewatching it because I like that show. It took me up until the last season to finally watch an interview with the lead actor. I forget his name, the Jax. It's like, oh, dude, this dude's British too. It's like, holy shit. Is Ron Perlman British, Russ? I don't know.
He might be.
He could be hiding it.
He might be, for all we know.
That's crazy.
Well, I think that about does it for this episode, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping on by and listening. Got great news from Senior Scott that we shall be having audio versions on SoundCloud in the not too distant future.
You like promising things, don't you?
I love promising things and putting you on the spot. Not necessarily.
I don't gotta do it. Get it done.
Not necessarily, but within the next month. How about the next month?
It's gonna be the next week or two.
Okay.
Probably before this episode airs.
Okay, well, that's awesome. So look forward to that, and then once we get that, we can try to start getting shit on iTunes, and then we'll become the biggest podcast ever.
If I can get in the top 100 list, even as 100, I'd be happy.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. Because there's some great shows that are in the top 100. Like, I know we'll never be best podcast in anything, but
We could be the best podcast from Alaska, Russ. We could run for that.
My friend John Canamore has one called The Heroes of Teria, where they review an album and a movie every episode.
Like a music album?
Yeah. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Very, very funny.
Yeah.
Good guys. And of course, my buddy Tobin, who has a wrestling-centric podcast called Culbercast.
Wrestling still a thing?
Yeah, I'm missing the pay-per-view today, so I could do this. But and I mean this sincerely, I would much rather be doing this than watching that.
Well, I didn't even know it was a thing anymore, so.
It's still a thing. It still exists.
Is it like a big thing, or is it just something they're kind of like
It's
trying
still
to
a big
put
thing.
along? It's still a big thing.
Thing,
Okay. Okay. They still got the Hulk?
Yes, it has the Hulk.
Does they still have The Rock?
No, The Rock doesn't wrestle anymore.
How about John Cena?
John Cena's still a wrestler.
Have you seen the YouTube thing with John Cena?
No.
No?
No.
You didn't hear the phone call thing?
No.
I'll show it to you at the end of this. It's funny.
Okay.
Hey, we forgot to call your debt collector people.
I did, but I'm gonna call
damn
him on Monday, and I'll tell you about
We'll have to
it.
wait a whole nother week to call him.
All right, then. Thank you guys so much for listening for Board to Alaska. I'm Russ Laredo.
I'm Scott Colleen.
Go north, my friends.